everyone, I'm super excited to film this video because this is like a two-part in one, in the sense that I have ordered majority of the items more towards the end of September, and then I have actually ordered a few which came today when I'm filming. So earlier on, these are today is the 1st of October, so technically this will go into the October Jackson's art haul. But yeah, I'm just really excited because there's first of all, you know that I have discovered Ecoline last month and absolutely loved it. I bought one color to begin with, which was this one here, the yellow ochre. I tried to link up the video here for you to see the swatches, and that started it for me because I didn't know that Ecoline had a watercolor line or liquid watercolor. I knew that they had these like transparent inks, and I wasn't really interested in that. But when I discovered their liquid watercolor, just by complete accident, I wrote in yellow ochre, I think, on Jackson's, and just saw all the products that came through. And I went through a bunch of different mediums like acrylics, pencils, crayons, anything in yellow ochre. Because you know, if you've been watching for a while, that I'm obsessed with yellow ochre, and burnt sienna is pretty much up there as well. So that's what I did, and that's how I discovered Ecoline completely out of blue. So today I want to share a few things with you. Now I have swatched out a little bit here for you because actually I have a bunch of watercolors sitting in this box which I have been so itching to start using, and I had to literally, you know, drag myself away from it because I wanted to unbox them. I love watching when people, you know, unwrap like new half pans and then start swatching them, so I find it really satisfying. So I wanted to do this type of a format of a video. I have swatched out everything else, and I will go through quickly these things with you, and then we'll go into the swatching. So okay, Ecoline, as I already mentioned, these are wonderful. These are transparent watercolors. I find them a lot more superior in quality, and you know, this is just my opinion. From what I have used and how I have experienced them, I find them more superior than Dr. P.H. Martin's. I have been desperately trying to use my Dr. P.H. Martin's, which I bought years ago, and I'm just not getting on with them. I really want to, because some of the colors are lovely, and you know, they are watercolors, they are liquid watercolors, but there's just something about Ecoline that feels modern. It feels like fresh, it feels good, it feels really fun to use. And so I have gone ahead and bought 6 more colors, which are right here. So I swatched them out. I got a white. Now I was quite intrigued to try white because you know that in regular watercolors I like to have a white or some sort of like a very pastel light gray, or something like a buff titanium, something that will give me the option of creating pastel beautiful colors. So this one is quite thick, so all of these are super transparent. There is nothing settling at the bottom of it, and yeah, they're just gorgeous, and I didn't know what to expect from a white. And so this white is super thick. It has kind of more of an acrylic paint feel to it. So you can see it's kind of really gloopy, so it's nice and thick, but it is totally fun to mix it with your watercolors. I will have to show you what I have played with already, and they are amazing. Let me just find it quickly. So by they I meant swatches. Look at that. So here I mixed the white with all of the other colors, so actually a few colors, the ones that I bought. So there's a beige, burnt sienna, deep ochre, pink beige, and pastel blue. So those are the other 5 colors that I bought, and the rest of the colors I have mixed them with the white, and you can see that it's something completely different. It feels so unusual. The textures are just beautiful. If you're into this sort of organic type of a look, you know, if you love landscapes, if you love kind of sea fronts and the rocks on the shore and things like that, there's just something about this quality that you can create something really, really quite stunning. And of course you can play around and add less of the white, more of it if you wanted to, but it's quite a different look to what you would achieve with a traditional watercolor. And I thought that's very, very pretty and just new. You know, I love new textures, and this was again just a pure experiment. And yeah, so let's look into those then. So I ordered a deep ochre, which is deeper than the regular ochre. Try to compare. So here is the yellow ochre by Ecoline, which I played around with different mediums here. And then this is the deep ochre. So deep ochre and yellow ochre. So you can see this is more yellow and sort of mustardy, where this one is sort of a little bit more kind of burnt. Next to it we have burnt sienna, of course. Beautiful colors. These swatches look a bit funny, I have to say, because when I played around with them here, they don't have such a strong line here, which I don't mind. I find all of these things very beautiful. It feels like a dye, you know, like a tie-dye when you scrunch up the fabric and you get this sort of lines. That's what it feels like here. A little bit of it here, but not as much. And then we have the pink beige and the beige. So these two colors, in fact pastel blue as well, I was quite intrigued to try them because you can see they're very pale looking on the swatches on the bottles. And I thought, what is it going to be like? Because I ordered a few of those pale colors by the Radiant Dr. P.H. Martins, and to be honest, I wasn't really impressed. But these are beautiful. The color range here is just stunning. I feel like I need a whole, you know, trolley of these. And if Ecoline is watching and would like to send me a few over, I am very happy. Joking, but no, really, these are beautiful. So, pink, beige, then we have beige. Now, beige is an interesting one. When you're swatching it out, again, here it looked different. For some reason here, maybe I didn't mix it up or something, I don't know. It has this darker outline. Again, for me, this is very interesting. I don't see this as a flaw, which I probably could a few years ago, but now I find all of these things incredibly interesting, incorporating them in my art and creating things that you would think, how did I achieve this? What did I do to achieve this? And that's just does it on its own. So here again, quite sort of smooth swatch. So this is the pink beige and the beige. And when you're first swatching it, when it comes out of the bottle, it almost has this like a green tint to it. And I was a little bit surprised, thinking, not sure how it's going to dry. But when it dries, it literally dries to the same color as it is here on the bottle. It's like identical to the swatch on the bottle. Here in the middle it is still identical, but then around it somehow created this sort of green outline, which I love. I just love it. Then blue, here it came out a lot more intense, and here I probably used more water. And so it's a gorgeous pastel blue. So you can see you can go from really pastel to more vibrant colors with it, but it's still beautiful. And I find something about this particular blue hue, or a tone of this blue, that it freshens up the entire autumn palette. So it's like the popping color basically. There's something about it that just lifts things and makes them quite yeah, just fresh and a beautiful sense of maybe that sort of frosty winter colors that are coming in but not there yet, with the warm autumnal colors. So it's kind of like a merge of the two seasons together, I find. So that's that for the Ecolines. Alright, it started raining, so the lighting might have changed a little bit. So basically, let's talk about the ArtGraf, which are these Viacro Tailor shape. Now the first one I bought was the ochre, and that was in my September haul. So here it is, beautiful color, and I decided to order a couple more, and so these were from two separate orders. The sepia I thought looked really interesting, but it came out completely different. So here it looks like a reddish brown almost, and it looks nothing like that on the actual swatch, which I have nothing against, because this one looks very pretty. It separates into dark browns and almost these sort of orange color. So if I just put it next to each other, you can see it looks completely different. Yeah, so what a really interesting way of having another watercolor medium. I love the fact that it's separating and granulating. I had no idea you could create a chalk looking type of a thing that is, you know, pure or feels like pure watercolor. The thing with them, so with sepia and the ochre, I found that you can still have texture left from the medium. However, with the brown, it actually, because it's so heavily granulating, you almost can't see that texture. So you can use it to your advantage if you wanted to have sort of lines and then, you know, have this sort of washes of it. Just with the water and a brush, you can achieve a really interesting look, but you will still have that original line there. And again, you can make it work for you, or yeah, that this is just a different way of having watercolor. In fact, what I wanted these for is, I really like this type of an illustration. Now this is a fashion illustration that I did a while ago, and obviously this is a Tamoy River paper. I wonder how these chalks would work on Tamoy River paper, but I really like this tone-on-tone warm brown elements or color tone to the illustrations, and that's what I wanted to use these for. And yeah, so then after ordering the sepia, I think I had a little chat with one of my viewers, and they mentioned that another good color to order, I think they watched the video, the whole video with the ochre, is a brown, because it's super granulating. So I went ahead and I bought the brown in my latest order, and it is stunning. Again, doesn't look much like the actual swatch. Here it looks a lot warmer, and here it has again pigment separation, and it looks a little bit more reddish. If anything, it looks more like the sepia on the swatch. So they almost look like this, like the other way around. Okay, so these are these. So I have three now. I have ochre, sepia, and brown. There's also sandrine, I think sandrine or sedona, one of them, that looked interesting. So I don't know, let me know how that is if you have it, but I'm quite happy to have just these three. So let's look at the next things. I have ordered two more of the Luminance pencils, and they are golden bismuth yellow. I quite like this warm toned yellow, and Luminance light malachite green. Now I had the light malachite green, And this one is the Museum Aquarelle. Sorry if I'm talking a bit slow, I just have so many thoughts in my mind that I'm trying to process everything at the same time. Okay, so malachite green. I had it in this form, and I had the green ochre, which I absolutely love these two pencils. I decided to double them up with the Luminance, and here they are. Again, I ordered these two and then this one recently, so I have well, now I actually have 4, including this one. I'm not planning to extend the range, I just wanted to get a few colors, and having them sort of doubled up in the same colors, but you know, like different textures in a way. So let's see, so this is the Luminance Malachite. Now if I just go in with the Museum Aquarelle, first of all, it doesn't have that scratchy kind of or more drier colored pencil feel to it, because this is a totally different thing. This is like watercolor pigment in a shape of a pencil, so these feel different. They are softer, creamier, and all of that. And then if I wanted to, I could go ahead and make it into watercolor, whereas I can't do it with this one. However, if I wanted to maintain this pencil line, incorporating it with watercolors, this pencil would not dissolve. So if that makes sense, I have the same color, but for 2 different reasons. The other thing is, let's swatch out this one. So this is the green ochre. I absolutely love it in the Museum Aquarelle, and that's why I also ordered the Luminance. Now I feel like the Luminance green ochre is a lot duller, so let's do a swatch next to it. Yes, so even in dry form, this feels already a lot more kind of pigmented and has more color to it. Let me just bring it up closer to you. So this is the light malachite green, and this is the green ochre. So I'm just going to dissolve it with a bit of water. And look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? So completely different, the same color pigment, but what a big, huge difference. It's just pigment basically, this one. Love it. Okay, so that's that. What else shall we talk about? This green. Okay, so Neocolor I, light olive. Just, you know, in Neocolor I, I wanted to have something green like. I only have a handful of these Neocolor ones. There are the wax-based wax oil pastels, so basically they're great for resist if you're creating watercolor illustration. So I just decided to add one more color. I think I'm quite happy with what I have there. Next thing, we have watercolor graphite. Okay, so this one I saw recently Irid mention, and I think I've seen, I'm not sure if she bought it recently or whether she had it before a while ago or whether she used something similar, but this time I really wanted to try it. So it's the again by Viacro, so the same brand as these two, and it's also ArtGraf, and the only difference is that this is watercolor graphite and these are watercolor Tailor shape, so they're water soluble rather. And yeah, so it comes in this beautiful packaging, and I'll show it to you in a minute. At the back here, what I found was interesting is that it says that it provides an extensive range of color of the graphite, so you can go from something as deep black to a more brighter and transparent tone. So that's really interesting. All you need to do is just wet your brush and you know, just sort of take the pigment. Isn't this gorgeous? This feels like vintage makeup or vintage skincare type of packaging, and I love it. It reminds me of something my gran used to have. And then here it is. So this is the water-soluble graphite. It's sort of like a tablet, a hard dried tablet, and all you do is just take a brush and then just you know, use it like that. I just wanted to see, yeah, so a bit of graphite will come off, and it is recommended here in the back of the box to use a fixative with this. So keep in mind that it can transfer, but it just adds another interesting effect to your watercolors. I haven't tried mixing them with water, this medium with watercolor. It would be interesting to see what would happen. As well as these could be mixed with watercolor as well. So if you wanted to, for example, take a brush, wet it, and then sort of take the pigment from the product and then mix it in a little porcelain tray with the addition of regular watercolors, then it would be interesting to see what would happen. So that's that. I feel like the video is going to be a lot longer than I intended, so we might need to do this as a part 2. Hey everyone, as I am editing this video, I'm realizing that the swatch video for the watercolor pens in that box should be a standalone video, as I also will be unwrapping them, so the content would be too long to squeeze into this video. And so in part 2 for today's video, you will see me swatching the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, which are the artist grade pencils. So enjoy! Okay, so let's move on. The other thing I have got is the another tube of Schmincke Mars Black, just to have it as a backup, because it is amazing. Like, it's literally amazing. And someone mentioned yesterday that there is a brown or Mars brown, so I have to look into that because I had no idea. But it would be interesting to know what's the difference, whether the separation of the pigment is actually brown rather than black. In that case, that would be a lot more interesting to use in mixes with watercolors.